So, you got some more Star Wars coming. Well, of course, you knew that would happen. But, so anyway, this leak apparently came about because of a disgruntled and fired Disney employee decided to leak what the projects coming forth will be. Gee, how could anyone be disgruntled from the great wonderland that is Disney? Well, how much of this could be true? Well, as with everything, we don't know, but boy, a lot of leaks lately turned out to be true, especially when it comes to Star Wars. So, let's take a look. The obvious thing, The Mandalorian Season 2, which they've already confirmed, with additional rumors offering several established characters from the Skywalker saga, movies will make appearances during the show's second season. Well, how about that? And of course, Mandalorian takes place after Return of the Jedi. Who knows who it could be? And of course, there's still questions remaining. Just who or what is Baby Yoda? Yeah. All that is yet to be detailed, and Mandalorian is the best hit they've had so far, leaving, I guess, Rogue One as their second now. And that's about it. But it came off strong, and there's hope for that to work out. Hopefully nobody messes it up. Meanwhile, the other thing we know, because it's already been talked about, is the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series. Was originally supposed to be a film, and I kind of wish it still was. But if they've got a lot of material to put into it, then perhaps a series would work better. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, apparently the title will be Old Ben. So, of course, he's going to be Ben Kenobi on Tatooine. Now, how much can you get out of a series on Tatooine? I'm not entirely certain. Would there be flashbacks of his life? I'm not so sure about that. Would he leave the planet? Now, how could he when he's supposed to watch over young Luke? And, of course, the rumors offer there will be a young Luke cast for the show, and well, that should be expected because that's why he's there. So he's there making sure Luke is safe and no one's going to come get him. The problem is the best scene at that point in time has already been done in the animated series where Darth Maul shows up and they have a final battle. But I guess they could do the live action version, but then I don't know what material they could have out of that, and I don't really want to see adding too much of Luke. I can understand there being a young Luke around, that he meets with him and stuff, but to see Luke suddenly show signs of the Force and this sort of thing when he was pretty ignorant of it at the outset in New Hope. So there's danger here of messing with the canon, which, boy, they keep doing. So I don't know. And maybe there could be a moment where Obi-Wan gets abducted or something, and he has to struggle to get back to Tatooine. And then he finds out Luke's okay and it all works out and it's all right. And that's the end of the first season or something like that. Or maybe it is just a mini series. I don't know. They're talking about an ongoing thing. So perhaps it would just be that. And just, there's your, Ben Kenobi adventure, leading up to New Hope, and we know what happened there. The Rogue One prequel series that they just suddenly threw out there because Rogue One until Mandalorian was their big hit. Unfortunately, everyone's dead. Spoiler at the end. So Diego Luna back as Cassian Andor would be this prequel story of his adventures, which means, look, he had kind of a character's journey here in that movie. He comes from kind of a cold-hearted guy to having his heart warmed by his feelings for Jyn Erso. Yes. Well, there's no Jyn Erso at this point because he's never met her. So I don't know that there's much there to deal with. The idea of developing a series in that era and the darkness that was in Rogue One could be an interesting thing to follow. I guess they could have made something out of Cassian Andor there, but there again, you're getting into the problems of prequels in that sense of a character's established journey and whatnot being somewhat altered because and when he hadn't got there yet, and that was the problems with Solo and stuff like that. And so there's risk in that, and but at the same time, I just don't really see much excitement for that. I liked Rogue One. It's pretty much the only one I like of the films. Solo, I kind of thought was just sort of okay. And especially since those films couldn't really do as much damage as the main saga films could and did. So I didn't really have too much any kind of upset about those. But as far as seeing a prequel for that character, I'm not so much in it. However, if it was a team up between him and the droid, and that shows them where he, reprograms them and stuff, yeah, you might get something out of that. I don't know for how long, probably another miniseries. But anyway, the rumor now is it's been put on hiatus, and that they did write scripts for it. But now all the attention is given to the Ben Kenobi show. So probably the Cassian Andor series will never happen. So maybe an animated thing at some point, but I'd rather doubt it. So it looks like that's getting the axe. Clone Wars Season 7. Well, you know about that. Possibly a Season 8. So there you go. Star Wars Detours, I don't really have any interest in. It looked pretty bad from the little clips I've seen. But apparently they'll go ahead and release that. So, yeah, maybe so. And then the trilogy archived editions, restored versions of the original trilogy. There's a lot of legality surrounding the release, but it's planned to be released eventually. So I suppose in its original form, that could be made available for D+. So the Game of Thrones creators who bailed, it's just as well because they turned out to be frauds, is said to have been developing an Old Republic film trilogy, with Disney now searching for new directors. Yeah. And, you might want to tap Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for that, too. They should just give them the whole thing. Now, they wouldn't be able to direct every film, so they would have to find people to do it. But I would trust more their views on who should handle that than the current regime. Boy, a Broadway musical is in development for Ray. Of course, I have no interest in Echoes of the Future, as it is titled. However, hell, it might be better than all of the 3 sequel films combined. and poor Ray will actually get a story. How about that, huh? I doubt that Daisy Ridley would have anything to do with it, but I suppose they'll cast some a young woman who can sing. Preferably nobody involved with the Cats movie. Rian Johnson, well, of course, Roundhead would have to show up again, is said to still be involved with Lucasfilm. Well, what do you know? And hasn't gotten the boot as his new Star Wars trilogy. Well, his trilogy, yeah, that's gone. But he's said to have the working title of Offspring of the Jedi. Was dependent on the success of Rise of Skywalker. It's claimed that Rian Johnson's new trilogy actually hinged on the critical success of The Rise of Skywalker, which was Johnson's ultimatum to see if he's really hated by the fan base, or it's Star Wars characters and seeing itself that the fan base hates. ST's characters? Did he mean Star Wars character? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't think we'll be hearing from Rian Johnson again. That would just be extremely foolish. The Glare of Thrawn, a new standalone movie that has been greenlit, but projects like this always fall through, so it may or may not happen. Now, I'm wondering what that's about. Thrawn is a popular character of the Expanding Universe stories, now Legends. Would it be, is that the one Feige is supposed to be working on? I don't know. He's supposed to be getting a film, So Project Luminous, a multimedia project covering multiple books and comics that takes place after Episode 9 is in development. Well, I don't know what that has to do with D+, but yeah, you would expect there's ongoing, other stuff, books and comic books and all that. And, of course, new Electronic Arts video game, Jedi Fallen Hope, is going to be, there'll be a new video game. Dave Filoni is developing a new Star Wars animated series, New Jedi Order, which follows Luke Skywalker building his new Jedi Order, and that they want Mark Hamill to return and voice Luke. Well, Boy, man, have they been burning bridges with that guy. So, but in the hands of the likes of Filoni, I maybe Mark might want to give that a shot. But the story of Luke Skywalker has been greatly ruined and tarnished by The Last Jedi. So even though you could get a good series that takes place before that, I don't know. I mean, maybe they would make an attempt to explain a better storyline that gets him to where he is in The Last Jedi. But I just don't think there's any appetite for it after it was handled so badly. Why would anyone want to retread that crap, So we'll see. But of course, the original trilogy remains the true heart and power of Star Wars, and so anything you can make of that will get more eyeballs than something completely brand new that's almost not even connected. I mean, Old Republic, for hardcore fans, has got some interest, although there again, some bridges are burnt. It's going to be kind of a struggle. But for everybody else that's, has some knowledge of Star Wars, but not that total, they give it a look. And, it depends on who they've cast and all this sort of, there's rumors about Keanu Reeves and whatnot. So we'll have to see. But once again, going back to the original property and having it tied to that probably has more draw. But we'll see how that works and all that. So just about all of this, I think, is very likely, and there's probably more than what's in this list here. So just an interesting little thing to look at. And look, they spent a lot of money on this. They got to try to get something out of it. They got Mandalorian, so maybe they can do more, and there can be something of Star Wars, but it's probably never going to go back to the way it was and what it could have been at the outset, because the original, they slapped on these god-awful chapters to the original. So had those been a separate thing all its own, wouldn't have mattered as much. But the fact that they're claiming that this is the canon result and outcome of the whole Skywalker story, it just leaves a bad taste in one's mouth. So, and it's all very unfortunate. But, yeah, Mandalorian was good. So, maybe there'll be some more goodness coming in the near future. And we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you. And yes, of course, you can check out my podcast on RadioMisfits.com, the Mr Nailsin Show. And you can also watch my videos over at BitChute.com. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.